right. How's everybody doing tonight? I am back. Still testing positive for COVID, man. This shit's kicking my ass. Didn't go to work today either. But we are going to have some fun talking about, which I honestly feel is my favorite Raw episode of 2022 so far. What a great show. I mean, literally from beginning to end, even the Omos stuff, I actually was very entertained by. We'll give a brief overview as far as tonight's Raw. And we will get into the latest teaser that happened today with the White Rabbit. Let me remind everyone that this is going to lead to Bray Wyatt's return. People out there that are trying to, try to make claims, once you know it's him, first of all, you have a different way of having fun with this. You try to put all the Easter eggs together. We had the conversation yesterday on the sit down. You have people out there that are now trying to convince you that it's Aleister Black. And I'll explain why in a little bit. You have some people tonight that are claiming that it's Corbin. I didn't get a chance to pull the picture, but you could go on social media. You see it now. The last segment we saw tonight with the women, when Candice LeRae showed up and was talking to Alexa Bliss, Bianca Belair, Asuka, and then Damage Control showed up. Just to show you how people either don't pay attention or they're intentionally trying to clickbait you. Bianca Belair had her arm behind Alexa Bliss. And you look at Bianca Belair's jacket and you know what I'm talking about. Well, because somebody took a still shot of her arm behind the dress, it looks like that something is crawling behind Alexa Bliss. And they're trying to make teasers with this, teasers with that. Listen, people out there trying to convince you that it's something else. It's not. People think that every Easter egg, I don't know if it's the Tony Khan mentality, because every little nook and cranny has to lead one way. And if it doesn't, they'll try to swerve you and say, oh, it could be this person. It could be. It's fucking Bray Wyatt. No ifs, ands, or buts. As far as Aleister Black returning down the line, sure. But do you think that people would be losing their shit hyping up Bray Wyatt's return and then it be Aleister Black? I mean, look, we all enjoyed Aleister Black, misused in WWE. We all enjoyed the House of Black, misused quite a bit in AEW. But if you make this reveal to be Aleister Black instead of Bray Wyatt, no disrespect to Malachi, Aleister, whatever you want to call him, Black, that would be one of the biggest wet farts in recent memory. Everybody and their fucking mother wants it to be Bray Wyatt. Everybody is like this towards Triple H. They're not going to let you down. They're not going to let you down. This is sports entertainment. It's supposed to tease you. It's supposed to swerve you. It's supposed to make you feel you're on the wrong track. But there's no question that this is Bray Wyatt. It's not even an argument. And, it's a shame to see people out there that are intentionally trying to, tease other things simply so, you keep the doubt in your mind. Because look, what do we always say? Facts sometimes are boring. Getting the answer early is unsexy. We've answered things over the 2022 year, cleared things up. Remember Wyndham with the football team? Dude, what was the teaser that he put in his social media profile about a month ago? Anybody remember what it was offhand? And everybody was like, oh, it's this, it's this, it's this. And then you realized that it was his high school football team, and they put out a video, and the video had to do with the football team. Literally 24 hours later, what Wyndham wrote on his social media page was answered. to this day, 95% of the websites and the podcasts out there that are trying to make you believe it's something else never cleared it up. Never cleared it up. So I don't know if anybody remembers what I'm talking about. I don't recall right. I know we talked about it on the show here. But, hey, without further ado, it's obviously the biggest topic tonight. Yes, Edge made his return. Yes, Candice LeRae made her Raw debut. And, I didn't even remember this. I remember the Candice LeRae conversation yesterday, but thank you very much, Lisselle. Hey, keep sending it if I'm right. He sent the 20 spot saying, Brother Don, you're 2 for 2 from yesterday. You said Edge would be back before Extreme Rules, and you said Candice LeRae can return anytime. Yeah, Candice LeRae, as we talked about last night, she's in phenomenal shape. She's been training, and she can show up anytime. We even talked about Becky Lynch. She had a kid. She was able to return. You bring the kid on the road with the family? Sure, why not? And the schedule will be lighter, obviously, for Candice LeRae because she is still a new parent. And Edge just made his return. And now with Extreme Rules, he's going to take on Finn Balor in an I Quit match. And that's going to be fucking phenomenal. And you look at Extreme Rules this year. Let's look at the Extreme Rules card this year versus last year as far as stipulations go. Check this out. Right now for this year, we have Liv Morgan versus Ronda Rousey. Extreme Rules match for the Women's Championship, SmackDown Women's Championship. Extreme Rules, okay? Stip. Matt Riddle versus Seth Rollins in a fight pit. Stip. Drew McIntyre versus Karrion Kross. Strap match. Stip. Bianca Belair versus Bayley. Ladder match for the Raw Women's Championship. Stipulation. That's why I keep saying stip. Now you got Finn Balor versus Edge. I Quit match. Every match is a pretty fucking cool stipulation for Extreme Rules. Now, let's look at 1 year ago. Liv Morgan over Carmella, regular match. The New Day over Bobby Lashley, AJ Styles, and Omos, a 6-man tag match. Ooh. The Usos over the Street Profits, tag match. No stips. Charlotte Flair over Alexa Bliss, no stip. Just Raw Women's Championship. Damian Priest over Jeff Hardy and Sheamus, triple threat match. Ooh. Becky Lynch over Bianca Belair, regular match, SmackDown Women's Championship. The only match that had a stipulation was Roman Reigns versus Finn Balor. And I think we remember a little bit of Roman Reigns and Finn Balor's history. Be careful of the middle rope. What a difference a year makes. So believe me when I tell you, I know that doesn't really have to do with Bray Wyatt, but sit back, enjoy the ride. Bray Wyatt is not going to debut Friday, just like he wasn't going to be revealed the 23rd of September. This is going to go on and on and on. Remember my sausage that I'm going to remind everyone here today. Saudi Arabia pays crazy fucking money for WWE to tour there. Insane fucking money. Some people make more money doing one match than they do in maybe 6 months to a year. Maybe more for some. The amount of additional money, that's why you had Shawn Michaels come out of retirement and you had other people return. Saudi Arabia, their want list, Sasha Banks, Naomi, Goldberg, Bray Wyatt, just to name 4. Will we get any of those 4? I have no idea. I have no clue. But the amount of money that's involved, and remember this, with Saudi Arabia, remember this, that deal is not a 10-year deal. That deal, sooner or later, is going to be coming to an end. When you make a crazy deal like that, Look at the wrestlers in AEW that were offered 5, 6, 7 times what they normally got paid on the indie circuit 3 years ago when Tony Khan offered them a deal. You know, they're getting crazy money from Tony. It's not Saudi Arabia levels, but the point is, you work out a deal with someone and they're paying you an insane amount of money. You want to make them feel like not only did they get their money's worth, but you gave them well and beyond. They want Saudi Arabia to be so happy that, oh, no money, no problem. No, they did, please. So believe me when I tell you, some of what is going down could end up being tied into Crown Jewel. That's not until November 5th. You know, that's still a little ways away. We got Survivor Series. You know, so please sit back, enjoy the ride. Yes, and smash the like button if you're enjoying the show. Now, let's talk about the teaser today. We got, you know, this was funny, and I was so pissed off. Some of you on my social media, my Twitter, you saw the tweets that I posted earlier. I rickrolled a few people out there, but I deleted all the tweets because I realized that, especially on Twitter, let's be honest, you work hard, you do research. 99% of people out there are not going to even thank you for it. So rather than me post tweet after tweet after tweet showing revelation and QR code and scan this and do this and interpret that and get the zip code from here and the coordinates from Italy and all this stuff, I said, nah, you know what? I'm going to put it right here on this fucking show. So I know every single person tuning in, you're getting it straight from me, not the people out there that are just going to copy it and then put it for themselves. So I deleted everything, and I'm going to share it with you right here, right now. The reason why I rickrolled some people earlier, and I put the dedication, it was for that Reddit goof. That Reddit goof. The last 24 hours, what did you hear online? That there's going to be a tic-tac-toe teaser, say that fast 10 times, for this thing, and there's a heart and a clubs, and that might lead to Sasha and Naomi, and they put tic-tac-toe. And it was sent to me, and we talked about it briefly yesterday, and then last night, I emailed someone, and I said, you know, are they going to start doing QR codes for Sasha and Naomi? And the person said to me, no, why do you say that? And they said, well, I showed them, I don't want to say the YouTube channel, but they have right on their fucking screen a tic-tac-toe board with hearts and clubs. And I sent the person the screenshot, and the person wrote LMFAO. And I said, why? What's so funny? He said the next teaser has to do with TikTok. Not tic-tac. Whoever this fucking goof was, they mistaken TikTok, you know, the TikTok, like those type of videos, to tic-tac, like tic-tac-toe. Remember that patricide? Remember that post last week we talked about the killing of one's father, patricide? WWE is trolling people as well. I don't know if you realize this. When some people get a little leak, they put something false out there to catch leakers. So last week, before they came up with the patricide ending of that video, they wrote the word Cole. Not Cole as in Michael Cole. Cole as in, the fuck is this in my Christmas stocking? There's Cole in here. They trolled whoever got that information early. Just like over the weekend, whoever got that information early, instead of revealing that it's a TikTok video, they wrote tic-tac. And hook, line, and sinker. Fucking goofs. That's why I share everything here with you. So, the video that came out today, I'm going to show it to you right now. And there's a couple of fun things with this. Now, we're not going to get into every little detail, but enough that when you finish this show, you're gonna know everything. Remember the Florida Championship Wrestling promo that I played for you last week? Remember what he said, the come with me, killing his father, patricide. It's Bray Wyatt. There is no doubt. There's people behind this here. It's Bray Wyatt, period. And let me also say one last thing before I start showing you everything from today. I see a lot of people giving a lot of credit to WWE Creative for what we are witnessing right now. I want you to know that a lot of what you're watching should be credited more to Wyndham, to Bray Wyatt, and not just WWE. Bray Wyatt didn't just work out a return with WWE and is sitting back and letting WWE Creative. Listen, I know Triple H is fresh, ideas. Understand, you still got Bruce Pritchard. You still got others there. So there's no way that every little creative thing you see out there is just Triple H's mind going crazy. It's not the case. These are some of the wrestlers themselves being able to input, be creative. Wyndham, his fucking mind. I mean, what do you always hear about Bray Wyatt? About his creative mind, and unfortunately that clashed with Vince McMahon in a lot of ways. But give Wyndham, once this is said and done, make sure you give him a lot of credit for this, because he is responsible for a lot of this. What I show you with the Aleister Black stuff in a few moments, that's WWE trolling. Just like what we said with the Cole and the other things. You're going to see things that are going to throw you off, because it's kind of boring to have every Easter egg lead to Bray Wyatt. You want to kind of be swerved in some ways. And that's what WWE is doing. I mean, look at the Edge. I always will remind everyone the Edge teasers when he came back after he got the shit knocked out of him from Judgment Day. You have people swearing to you that it was a Bray Wyatt return. Even though you had Cactus Jack Flannel and Dudleys and Hardys and Eddie Guerrero and this and that, keep it simple. It was Edge, period. Keep it simple. It was Bray Wyatt, period. Okay, now, I cannot see the chat room at this moment because I am going to show you a few things right now as far as what we got today. And I am allowed to show it, which is pretty fucking cool. So here is first thing. Now, a couple of things I want to point out to you. Do you see the coordinates on the bottom? And for my audio only friends who I always think about, and I always try to make sure the shows are formatted so if you're audio only, you could play in on the fun as well. I'm going to read you the coordinates. And this is the great thing about technology in 2022. You're not listening with a cassette tape. So it's not like you have to press rewind on a radio or a compact disc player. All you got to do is just take your mouse and just go back 5 seconds. Or you could go on super slow speed and you could hear me go 4, 4, 2, 4. So the coordinates that are on the bottom of this video is 44.244, 273, 0.7, 0.769, 737. Now, you punch in those coordinates, it brings you to a place in Italy called Prata Nevoso. Prata Nevoso. And when you go on that coordinates, latitude and longitude, I believe it is, latitude and longitude. Yeah, my social studies is good. No, that's science. It brings you to this. It is a pink bunny. No, it's not an actual pink bunny. What it is, it's an area in Italy that looks like the outline of a pink bunny. It's not necessarily pink. You can manipulate the color and make it white. It's a bunny That was the coordinates on here. So now we go back to this. Now, pay close attention because there is a zip code that pulls up in this video. All right? The zip code we'll get into in a moment. You'll see 40701. Here is the not tic-tac-toe, but TikTok video that they streamed today with the QR code. Enjoy. All right, we can show it one more time. Let's show it one more time. Okay. All right. So that was the first one. Now, when you punch in that zip code, all right, that's a zip code for Corbin, Kentucky. So because the name was Corbin, now you got people thinking, oh my God, remember, Baron Corbin went into the limo with JBL. We haven't seen him since. Could this all be vignettes for Corbin? No. Maybe if Vince McMahon was still in charge, I could picture that. You can picture him with his laugh. No. Now, in the video also, there's a link, and it leads to 930 YWG. 930 YWG. 930 is this Friday's SmackDown date. YWG is the abbreviation for Winnipeg. That is where SmackDown is taking place. The next teaser will air Friday, September 30th. Do not set your times. Big Congos, welcome to the family. Do not set your time for 9:30 p.m. Last week, I cleared that up for everyone out there. When they saw the 9:23 last week and 9:23 p.m., you had tons of people out there that were like, oh, we're getting something at 9:23 p.m. on 9:23 on SmackDown. So what happens? Braun Strowman takes on Otis. Scarlett throws the fireball at Drew McIntyre. Then we get 9:23 and we get Jake from State Farm commercial. And then the rating comes in. You have all these fucking losers online saying that, oh, WWE lied. And the reason why the rating was so high is because everybody expected something at 9:23. No, the people that expected something at 9:23 can blame all the people that refused to clear that up for them about 9:20. There was never supposed to be anything at 9:23 p.m. So I'm telling you right now, you're not going to see something at 9:30 p.m. on 9:30. You'll see it on Friday, but it's not going to be at 9:30. All right, now, here's another little swerve that WWE did today. Now, I can't post the link here, all right? It's very hard to explain, but I'm going to tell you exactly what you need to do. Great Dane Mom, welcome to the family. You zap the QR code that aired tonight on Raw. It's going to bring you to a link that's going to play the video I just showed you. In that link, you will see the 930 YWG. That is part of the link. When you put that link in your browser to watch the video you just watched, add something to it. Before the link, before the HTTPS, before your link in your browser, I want you to add the following. The word view, VIEW, dash source, slash, view dash source. Actually, better yet, view dash source colon. That'll be easy because it'll work for every browser. Just add before the link view-source : then put that link for the video. Because what'll happen is you will get this. Let me pull it up. You're going to get the source code for this video. Now, for people that are watching on your iPhones, you don't have to like zoom in. Don't worry about it. I'm going to zoom in for you. But you're going to get the source code. Now, I have wrestling-news.com, dontony.com. I've had that website since 1999. I make my own website, my own pages, and you use source code like this. Now, when you make up a video, anything on your website, you can put lines in there that don't affect what you're watching. You could title something, you can ID it, you could put certain things that has nothing to do with the video whatsoever. So again, think about Cole from last week. Think about Tic Tac from this weekend and that Reddit goof that bit the bait. Here is another one. You go back to the source code, and for everyone that maybe can see this through a computer right now, there is two particular lines in this source code that everybody is talking about. Now I will zoom in. And as you can see, when I zoom in, take a look at this. There is a console.log with a phrase in parentheses, and it's in parentheses so it does not affect the video in any way. There are two lines written. The first line is, no man is ever truly good. And the second line, lovely Lashea, welcome to the family. The second line is, no man is ever truly evil. Those are the first two lines of Aleister Black's theme music, WWE theme song. It does not affect the video in any way, but that is thrown in there because, listen, you know how I found out about that? Now I found about that. When I got the QR code earlier today and I got the video, you know, the only way that I could share the video with you right now is if I share my screen. See, you see my mouse moving around? See, sharing the screen? That's the only way I could show you this video. I wanted to download the video. So what you do is you right-click on the page and view source will come up as a menu on your mouse and on your browser. And you select view source, and now you could see all the behind the scenes about the page. You could do it for my website. You could do it on a YouTube page. Right-click anything that you're watching on your browser and select view source, and you could see, you know, what goes on behind the scenes. So WWE knows that. So WWE adds little things that have nothing to do with this because someone will be smart enough to pick up on that. And someone will say, holy shit, that's Aleister Black's theme song. Holy shit, he's coming back with Aleister Black. Holy shit. That is the beauty of being entertained, being swerved. So that's what that is. This is all leading back to Bray Wyatt. So that is basically what we got today. Friday, we will get another teaser. But again, this is going to go on for a little while. Could it lead to Extreme Rules? Sure, but that would be awfully... Listen, the QR codes have been fun. You remember what I said last week? That we're going to start getting vignettes? That we're going to start getting deep production? This TikTok video that we saw earlier, that's not easy to put together. Think about that. I mean, they had to spell out the phrases. I mean, who thinks about, you know, putting up a clip of the Sandman? Did you see some of them? Yeah, and others. Doink the Clown. So this is a real deep process. It's just begun. But how long this goes? Months? Sure. Could be a month. Could be 2 months. Could lead into Saudi. It could lead into Extreme Rules. It could lead into, another event. But it's not ending anytime soon. Sit back, enjoy the ride. And when you get more Easter eggs and more QR codes and more teasers, just keep Bray Wyatt on the brain and try to fit. Look, somebody wrote earlier that in that area that I talked about earlier, where there is, I think in Kentucky, in Corbin, Kentucky, there is also a record label called White Rabbit Records. Has nothing to do with any of this. White Rabbit Records. That's a record. But when you Google it to find out where it's located in a town called Wyndham. See where I'm going with this? Just in the back of your mind, keep Bray Wyatt as the answer. And you will find additional little Easter eggs that are not even intended. And then you realize how long this has been thought of. This is going to be a great ride, everyone. I hope you enjoy it as much as I do, because I am fucking loving it. I'm loving it. So, yeah, Wyndham is the town where White Rabbit Records. Do you know that there's some podcast and news sites that still don't even realize that the Jefferson Airplane song, White Rabbit, was performed in 1967, 55 years ago? They actually still think that, and the best part, I don't want to say who it is, Sportskeeda. There's a YouTube channel with Jefferson Airplane's White Rabbit. The video was put online, the performance, 15 years ago. And people are taking that and they're acting like, wow, talk about long time. I know some people are just having some fun with it, but some people don't realize that that's still a 55-year-old song. Now, I'm not going to make fun of younger people out there because honestly, if I was really young, maybe I would have heard that fucking song in an auto parts store or maybe in a gas station or somewhere. Why would I hear that anywhere? You're not going to hear the a cappella version, but, you keep Bray Wyatt on the brain, makes this so much more fun. So, yeah, the Bianca Belair, stuff with from her jacket, trying to portray that there's some creature. God. And the worst is, like I said, you have people calling them out and saying, no, that's part of Bianca's jacket. And they just ignore it because, no, they want people to pay attention to them. Click on my page, watch this, hear this. They don't want to clear it up. That shit with the football team really pissed me off a month ago because the answer was given 24 hours later and 95% of the sites out there. Wednesday, when we do Wednesday Night Dynamite, we're going to have some fun about more fake news. Keith Lee called them out today on it again. Keith Lee called out. And you know what's funny? It's funny watching so much fake news, but when individual names get called out for it, they act like victims. They act like victims. And I'm like, you got to be fucking kidding me. Just because you like a journalist, doesn't mean that that journalist is not a little bit, we've talked about Nick Hausman. Nick Hausman's a good guy. He's a good journalist, but he ain't no fucking innocent victim here. That motherfucker, you do a Google, do a deep dive on him and Colt Cabana. You might even feel that there's a little bit of a weird fascination or maybe good friends, but there's a weird infatuation with CM Punk and Colt Cabana in AEW ever since CM Punk debuted. And we brought up the Ring of Honor Q&A, and right away, using another person's bullshit report just so he could get it out there anyway. That's the reason why CM Punk went off on these people. I have no sympathy. There's a phrase, if you play, you must pay. And if you play and you pay, and then you complain about having to pay because you played, well, that makes you a little wimp, in my opinion. So, all right. Okay. Let's talk a little bit about Raw tonight. One little tidbit that I want to share with everyone. I think they're going to be called to the main roster sooner than later. I could see them going up with the Viking Raiders. I could see them maybe replacing the Viking Raiders as the next big heel, size tag team. For those that don't know, over the weekend, and this could be temporary, but I don't think so. I think they could ultimately go to the main roster. Veer Mahan. Veer Mahan is back in NXT. You might remember a team called Indus Shear. You remember the debacle when Keith Lee was a double champion in NXT? And I think it was it Sangha that took the picture and posted it on social media and didn't fucking even realize, like, what, there's something wrong with, like, spoiling a victory. I don't care how happy you are. You remember what happened with Indus Shear. Anyway, Veer Mahan and Sangha wrestled over the weekend for NXT. Now, this was Indus Shear before. This is actually, let's pull it up this way. This is from this weekend. As you could see, Sangha now has the face paint. Cress, you did say that Veer, was back on Friday. I don't recall you saying that he was part of Indus Shear, reuniting with Indus Shear. But I'm just pointing out the photos because I wanted to talk about it tonight. So he is back with Sangha. They took on Chase University over the weekend. I think that they're destined to go to the main roster. I think they will be going to the main roster. And that's a good thing. Because Sangha, what was the gripe that we were joking around with mostly in the watch parties? He has his fucking initials, like, written with, like, white marker on his boots after all of these years of him performing. It just looked budget. And it looked like he was almost like a version of Goldberg. If you looked at his trunks and his boots, and it's just a little too generic. Now you look at them together, with the face paint and everything. Yeah, now he's got a little bit of style once again. And you know what? They were pretty damn good. Remember, one of your favorites in AEW right now, Stokely Hathaway, he was the manager for them. And remember, we kind of felt bad for Stokely at the time because once that happened, like, all his momentum with Indus Shear went out the window. So Veer will not be coming to Raw in the near future. So, all right. So I wanted to just get that out of there. So Raw tonight opened up with Bianca Belair. Look, I'm a little stickler to detail. Like I said, this was probably my favorite episode of Raw in 2022 so far. But a little bit of a promo, I was like, makes no sense. She says that she was going to challenge Bayley to a match tonight, but she realized that it would never be about just her and Bayley, that Bayley always has got to make it 3-on-1. But meanwhile, she's standing next to Alexa Bliss and Asuka. We're not doing anything tonight. So if you wanted to take on Bayley, and you're worried about 3-on-1, you got two people standing right next to you. That's what I thought was kind of stupid. Then, especially at the end of the night, and Bayley's like, I'll fight you right now. Wait, what happened to before? Like, it's never about just her and her 1-on-1. So the promo, if you actually think about what Bayley said, what Bianca said, didn't really make too much sense. But Bayley comes out and talks about how Bianca was handpicked. Everybody in Damage Control, including herself, they were not handpicked. She trained herself. And she says that, she did something else that no one else has been able to do for almost 300 days. And I checked it out. And I think Bayley was correct. You were questioning if anyone else pinned Bianca Belair in the last 300 days. Believe it or not, I think that is true. I think the closest I could find, now let me make this clear. Bianca Belair lost several matches in the last 300 days. A lot of them, she was in a tag team match. 1 or 2 were countouts, and I think there was a disqualification thrown in there as well. The last time that I could find Bianca Belair being pinned before Bayley did at the Premium Live event was November of 2021. Becky Lynch pinning Bianca Belair. So I think that Bayley was telling the truth tonight. So anyway, Bayley issues the challenge for a ladder match at Extreme Rules. Bianca accepts. We end up with an impromptu match with Bianca Belair defeating Io Sky tonight with the KOD. One little weird thing that happened during this that I thought was funny, they started their match. We go to commercial break. So we come back from commercial break, and instead of them going right to the match, they show an SUV pulling up, and it's Sami Zayn and Solo Sikoa. Now, I know the segment was not all that long, but it was interesting that while the match is in progress, they come back from commercial. They don't go right to the match, or maybe show the SUV after the match is over, but they actually went right to that. But ultimately, Bianca Belair beats Io Sky with the KOD. Now, tonight, the matches that were hyped up in advance, the ones that everybody was focused on, was Seth Rollins versus Rey Mysterio. Also, Johnny Gargano and Kevin Owens versus Alpha Academy. And then AJ Styles taking on Sami Zayn with Solo Sikoa. Those were the three primary matches that they were hyping up for tonight. We ended up with a few other matches, and as I said earlier, Candice LeRae made her Raw debut, and I guess we could mention that briefly right now. She appeared, and, if you pay attention to her social media, we've seen her, playing with a kid in the ring with Johnny. So, she looks, in great shape. She looks pretty much what she looked like before. She showed up today, beat Nikki ASH. And yes, the big story is that Candice LeRae is now on Raw. I think also a big story is, I think Nikki ASH as the almost a superhero is just about done. Because after the match was over, Nikki ASH had a meltdown and she took the mask off. And this is slowly transitioning Nikki. I don't want to say that she's going to be her old character. That's a little touchy, even under the Triple H regime. But I think we will get a hybrid of it. So Nikki ASH slowly losing the superhero stuff. If you notice what we've talked about before, the 24/7 championship has been regulated pretty much just for house shows. That will bleed into the entertainment world. We will have non-wrestlers win the belts just for, fun. Hey, Ref Aja, she won the championship over the weekend. And we all love Ref Aja. And she won the championship. She lost it right away, but, if it's just, not everything creatively is meant for me, my age group, your age group. You do have to spread it out a little bit. So if they leave it more for house shows, not a big deal. Not a big deal. But Candice LeRae tonight beats Nikki ASH. Omos squashed two guys. We don't know who they are. I called them El Whito and El Blacko. So once I get the names, I'll let everybody know. Interesting to see Omos back on. I think they're going to lead to Braun Strowman versus Omos. I think this is going to lead to some behemoths. We may even see Omos and Otis go at it down the line. So, all right. Another match that we had tonight, Rey Mysterio versus Seth Rollins. Now, most of us remember, we remember the history of Rey Mysterio and Seth Rollins. Rey Mysterio cuts a promo first, and he talks about his son, and he looks at his son, and he doesn't know what happened to him. He says, that's Rhea Ripley manipulating Dominic. And by the way, I think we have to do this weekly right now. I think weekly we have to put the daily troll photo of Dominic Mysterio. I think every week we're going to post a black and white photo like this one of Dominic Mysterio and Rhea Ripley, just to keep pissing off people. Dominic tonight got an interesting chant from the Canadian fans. Dom is worthless. Dom is worthless. I don't think that's go away heat, everyone. I think because of the beloved Rey Mysterio, people are pissed off. They want to see Dominic get his. Now, this is going to lead to a match with Dominic. Even though Rey says he'll never hit his son. Yeah, they'll have a match. But Seth Rollins then cuts a promo, mainly on Riddle. He's won all type of matches in his career. He'll win the fight pit. He says that one thing that he has that Riddle doesn't is an Einstein mind. And when he wins, everyone's going to call Seth Rollins the king of the fight pit. And tonight, he's going to do it to Rey, the coward, what he refuses to do to his son. And we get the match. Seth Rollins defeats Rey Mysterio. Seth had a little bit of a cut, and he did post a photo of himself after the match. I actually was paying attention more of his nose. Maybe just the way that he posed. Doesn't his nose look like he may have gotten a broken nose? I don't think so, but his nose looks a little bit, I don't know. I mean, even if I did that pose right now, even though it kind of hurt because my throat and my nose is bothering me from COVID still, I don't know. His nose looked like maybe something was up. It was more the cut on his forehead. But Rhea Ripley, Dominic Mysterio, they show up at ringside. They interfere in the match. Rey Mysterio gets, obviously, a little bit of interference from Rhea. Dominic's sitting there and just enjoying it. Not laying his hands on his father yet. But Rhea interferes. Seth hits a curb stomp. And then chokes out Rey Mysterio with, I believe they call it the Peruvian necktie. Is that what the submission move is? The Peruvian necktie? I don't know. I never heard of the Peruvian necktie before. Maybe I'm saying it wrong. But Seth Rollins introducing the submission move because of the fight pit. Because you can win by submission, obviously, in the fight pit. So Seth Rollins gets the win on Rey tonight. To be continued. Kevin Owens, Johnny Gargano beat Alpha Academy. This was a fun match. At one point in the match, Kevin Owens does a flying elbow onto Otis through the table, pretty much incapacitating both of them towards the end of the match. Austin Theory showed up, tried to distract Johnny Gargano, and at one point, I thought Johnny Gargano was going to get pinned because when Austin Theory interfered, we had a cliffhanger by Chad Gable. It looked great. Only for a 2 count, though. And then, before you know it, about 45 seconds later, a beautiful-looking one final beat. The DDT by Johnny Gargano. I'll tell you, I remember how RVD used to take DDTs. Remember how he used to bounce off the floor? Chad Gable takes an awesome DDT. He ate that one final beat, and it looked beautiful on TV. There are some wrestlers that really know how to take a DDT well. And, in some promotions, they don't really allow you to do the DDT anymore. But, Johnny Gargano with the one final beat onto Chad Gable for the win. Next week, we have Johnny Gargano versus Otis, by the way, and we have Chad Gable versus Braun Strowman. Next week, we will also have Candice LeRae, I believe, against Dakota Kai. So those are 3 matches announced for next week. AJ Styles about to cut a promo in the back, interrupted by Finn Balor. Hey, they're friends. They go back a long way. Finn Balor wants AJ Styles to join Judgment Day. They could change the business again. Finn Balor offers AJ Styles, we could watch you back tonight. AJ Styles says, I could watch my own back tonight. So we get Sami Zayn versus AJ Styles. Probably my favorite match of the night. They're in Canada. Sami Zayn, very beloved. Sami Zayn getting a lot of appreciation from the fans rooting for him during this match. Unfortunately, Sami Zayn was with Solo Sikoa. AJ Styles was with nobody. I'll tell you one thing about the Edge return, which is interesting, and I'll mention it in a moment. So Solo Sikoa at ringside, Sami Zayn wearing a shirt, wearing the honorary Uce shirt, not wrestling shirtless right now. He'll keep that shirt on because he is proud as an honorary Uce. But towards the end of the match, Solo Sikoa hits a beautiful Uranagi on AJ Styles on the edge of the ring apron, followed by a haluva kick from Sami Zayn, and Sami Zayn gets the win on AJ Styles. Right after the match is over, Judgment Day's music hits. They come out, and I know some people are like, oh my God, did he really do what we saw? It was so quick. Finn Balor basically tells AJ, look, if we would have had your back tonight, things would have been a little bit different. And Finn Balor wants AJ Styles to join Judgment Day. So Finn Balor puts the too sweet symbol, wants AJ to touch fingers to make it official. AJ nods his head yes in the middle of the ring, is about to do that with Finn, and turns around and goes, and it was so fucking quick. It was so quick on design. It's almost like if you want to beat the censor, like you got to say like, fuck you. Like it was so, I thought it was so fun. And they did it sideways. Did you notice they did it sideways? So AJ Styles is like, it was so, maybe not that fast, but it was really fast. So he flipped him the bird. He gave a symbol of his own. Judgment Day starts beating him down. They put the chair around the neck of AJ Styles. Now, Edge was in the back. AJ Styles was about to get destroyed. Edge's music does not hit. I guess Edge gives a fuck about Damian Priest beating down Riddle more than Finn Balor about to break the neck of AJ Styles. Let me explain. Edge's music doesn't hit. He doesn't come out. Finn Balor is about to break the neck of AJ Styles, and he stops. Puts his foot, they put the chair around his neck, foot. Might have even been Damian Priest that was going to lay the foot. I think it was, no, it had to have been Finn, because he stops. And Finn Balor says, friends don't do that to friends. I'm your friend, AJ. That's not what friends do. So he does not go ahead and smash the chair, breaking AJ Styles' neck. Now, could this lead to AJ Styles joining Judgment Day? Remember, AJ Styles and Edge had a big WrestleMania match that made Edge turn heel. Edge did not come to the rescue of AJ Styles tonight, even though AJ Styles says, I could watch my own back. So that could lead down the line to AJ Styles helping Finn Balor defeat Edge, and AJ Styles ends up being in Judgment Day. Not saying it's going to happen, but it's definitely something to keep in the back of your mind, because as of right now, AJ Styles has no match at Extreme Rules. And it would be an interesting element. Yeah, I was thinking about this earlier today too. What do you think about the idea of Bray Wyatt being the leader of Judgment Day? I'm not saying that should be, because we talked about it yesterday, and I said yesterday, Bray Wyatt, when he returns, he should be solo, by himself. If you want to create a faction down the line, once Aleister Black can go there, you bring back Eric Redbeard, who knows, maybe you put a hybrid of Judgment Day in there. Sure, anything is possible. But I think AJ Styles could very well become part of Judgment Day. We'll see. We'll see. So, the main event tonight, we had Matt Riddle. Excuse me for a second. The last couple of episodes, I have to mute myself for a second. Either I feel a sneeze coming or a phlegmy cough because I still tested positive for COVID. Man, this is 6 days now straight. I'm kind of like annoyed. I didn't go to work today either. So, by the way, Eddie K and everyone else, I will be picking up my stuff from the post office tomorrow. So Wednesday, I'll be opening some stuff. And don't forget, everyone, next mailbag is this Thursday. So you only got another day and a half. If you want to either email me a question, dontony@dontony.com, or post it in the community section here on YouTube, and I will do the mailbag. It'll air Thursday here on the channel. So Sam is telling me to stop testing myself. As I said yesterday, I live in Howard Beach, Queens, where the mob, used to make their stay. And there's still a lot of people here. If I still test positive for COVID and I give somebody in the neighborhood COVID, they're not going to be like, hey, I'm going to take my insurance somewhere else. It's not safe to be in. No, they're going to say, you fucking gave me COVID. They'll rip my tongue out. They'll say, here, cough now, bitch. They'll make me pay. So here you don't get sued. You get shot or you get the shit knocked out of you. I don't want to do that. Plus, I'm supposed to go to a wedding this weekend, and I'd like to know if I'm still testing positive or not. So Riddle beats Damian Priest. Little bit of a surprise, I think, for a lot of people out there. And after the match is over, they're beating down Riddle, and then Edge's music hits. Edge makes the save. Everybody, I shouldn't say everybody, I mean, there was a nice pop, but I think it was a little bit warmer than some people expected. So Edge gets on the mic, confronts Finn Balor. This shit ain't done. And he challenges Finn Balor to a match at Extreme Rules, an I Quit match. So that is the latest match to be added at Extreme Rules. So now we got 5 matches, 5 good stipulations, and there's more to come. There's more to come. So what a really fun episode of Raw. Another, think of the non-wrestling segments that we had tonight. We had more comedy with Dexter Lumis and The Miz, and a lot of people, and I saw it more tonight than I've ever seen it before. Why is Dexter Lumis stalking The Miz? And this is going to be kind of a tough one to answer, and I'll tell you why. Because do you think Dexter Lumis is going to start talking in complete sentences anytime soon? No. Anybody that was following NXT, you remember when he was kidnapping Austin Theory? Austin Theory was explaining what happened. Oh, we were watching cartoons and eating cereal and this and that. And we got the aura for the storyline is that Dexter Lumis just wanted a friend. Friends don't do to what Dexter Lumis has been doing to The Miz. So tonight, The Miz is prepared. He's got a whole bunch of what you may have thought AEW dark wrestlers or AEW elevation wrestlers, but it's local indie guys from that area, Edmonton, playing security guards. He's offering them movie roles, millions, this, protect him from Dexter Lumis. This was the end result. I think somebody should probably just Photoshop Wardlow on there, and there's your AEW match. The security guards didn't do all that well tonight. And then The Miz, which is like a merchandise area in the building, and there is a guy with a helmet on, dressed in the Edmonton Oilers outfit, takes the helmet off. It is Dexter Lumis. The Miz is freaking out. About 30 seconds later, Dexter Lumis. I listen, man. I'm not kidding. I don't know if I could be the Miz in these segments. The way Dexter Lumis just rubs his head. I mean, if you're a dog, your tail is wagging because it just looks comforting. Like, hey, massage my fucking head like that. Hey, honey, massage my head. If I'm Miz, I don't know. I would probably break out of laughter somewhere. I mean, I give props to The Miz that he could just sit there and act unconscious, and Dexter Lumis doing what he's doing. I mean, you see where Dexter Lumis's left thumb is? If that was me, I would have went like this first. And then when Dexter Lumis, I would have given him a wet willy. I would have done something to try to make him corpse him, try to make him laugh. I would have played with his earlobe. I would have done something else to try to make him laugh. But once again, Dexter Lumis gets the best of The Miz. So it was fun. This was one of my favorite. I think it's my favorite episode of Raw this year. And I know it's up with stiff competition from football, but pretty damn good episode of Raw. Now, just to start bringing us home, because we've already gone an hour, a couple other things I wanted to get into as well. In 2 weeks, we have a big Raw coming up. I might actually go. I have the opportunity to get a press pass. I'm not sure yet, but October 10th, WWE is going to be in Brooklyn, about 15 minutes away from my house, with traffic. And they're going to be celebrating the 25th anniversary of D-Generation X. Everybody will be there that is still alive, obviously, with the exception of Billy Gunn. Sure, WWE probably could have worked out something with AEW and allowed Billy Gunn to appear. Maybe Billy Gunn will do a pre-recorded little remote promo somewhere. That's not out of the question. Just unfortunately, Tony Khan, with that multiple personality disorder that we unfortunately talked about, if he would just shut the fuck up and just stop with the negativity towards WWE, the News 12 interview. We know why he was saying what he was saying. The intention was right. It's just he can't help himself. And honestly, that probably is one of the reasons why Billy Gunn is not going to be there live and in person. But the other members will be there. Expect some comedy shit. Like we said, you'll probably get interrupted by Chad Gable. I expect that to happen. But also in 2 weeks, we're going to have the Bloodline, including Roman Reigns, also there. And, it's going to be a big Raw in 2 weeks. So that's going to be a pretty good episode to look forward to. The Royal Rumble tickets go on sale this Friday. And the reason why it's a big deal is because WWE updated their poster. And no, we're not getting the rematch. We're not getting the rematch. Even though it kind of looks that way, don't worry about it. But this is the Royal Rumble poster. Brock Lesnar sit right there, front and right center, sort of. Brock Lesnar will be there. And, I know there's been some reports online that, Brock Lesnar is pretty much gone from WWE and he agreed to just finish out the feud with Roman Reigns because of his love for Vince McMahon. Bullshit. Brock Lesnar is still under WWE contract. No, the teasers are not for a return of Brock Lesnar. Oh, why did he shave his beard? Could he be the White Rabbit? I have read so much. And listen, I want to make this clear. When I bring up dumb shit like that, it's not from a random wrestling fan. Because at one point, many points, when I was a young wrestling fan, I thought stupid stuff. Shit. For a couple of days, I thought Dan Severn really broke his neck in WWF back then. I actually emailed Georgianne Macropolis. I said, is he okay? And she's like, yeah, it's a storyline. I'm like, okay, good. I thought it was. I honestly wasn't sure. You could be fooled. I'm talking about people that you would expect to know a little bit better. So, injury reports. Good news, bad news coming out of AEW this past week. Now, good news is Jade Cargill appears to be okay. Julia Hart is also okay. her table spot, the way she landed head first on the concrete, that was the one that we were all concerned about. But Darby Allin, unfortunately, there's a little graphic, everyone. It's a little graphic. It's YouTube allowable, but just warning you, a little graphic for a few seconds. He had to get a bunch of staples in his head. You know, I know shit happens, but no, you know, I think sometimes when you're a thrill seeker and you're willing to do crazy ass stunts, you know, I think you put yourself at a bigger risk, more like an I don't give a fuck attitude, but, you know, he's going to be out of action for a little while. So we wish him the best. I mean, I don't want to see that guy get hurt. I got to show you something. No one's talking about it. Any little thing that WWE does, I take notice. Even little digs, bait, trolling, I try to pay attention to everything. That's why we usually don't get suckered on these shows. We're usually able to sift it out. Over the weekend, I ordered the White Rabbit shirt. Over the weekend, they had a sale, little discount code. Did anybody know what I'm talking about? I can't believe nobody talked about it. Does anybody know what the discount code was? No, it wasn't Bray Wyatt. It wasn't anything about that. I'm going to show it to you. I found this pretty interesting. Now, I was going to tweet about it, but I prefer to keep stuff here on the shows so we can have some friendly conversation here. But that was the 20% off discount code. If you used the discount code walkout, not superstar, not diva, not bloodline, not oos, walkout. Nobody paid attention to it. Just wanted to share it to you. Listen, Sasha Banks and Naomi are returning. It is happening. It's just a question of when. It's happening. I'm not reporting it as news, but it's happening. And we've talked about why they're still sold as a bundle everywhere Sasha Banks appears. This is part of the deal. They will be returning. The question is, does it happen at day one, which has been rumored? Does it happen in Saudi Arabia, which has been rumored? Because Saudi Arabia, absolutely. Remember the history that Sasha Banks made in Saudi Arabia. It's a big fucking deal. That's a big opportunity to pass up. So does it happen at Royal Rumble? Does it happen at day one? Does it happen at Survivor Series? You know, a lot of people are jumping the gun when it comes to Survivor Series. Because, yes, we are getting 2 War Games matches this year. And it's pretty much set now. We are having a women's War Games match, and we are having a men's War Games match. The women's War Games match may open up the Survivor Series, and the men's will close out Survivor Series. Now, everybody thinks, based on what we've been watching on Raw, it's going to be Damage Control versus Team Bianca. And people already think that Bianca Belair, Alexa Bliss, Asuka, and Candice LeRae might be 4 of the 5 people already. Remember, everyone, you know, you have wrestlers on SmackDown. Raquel Rodriguez is almost a lock for it. They are seriously considering Shotzi Blackheart in there. Just adding those 2 names, you're already at 6. You're already at 1 too many. And then you got to think of other women that are on SmackDown. Do I think Ronda Rousey, Sonya Deville, Charlotte Flair, Shayna Baszler, could they be part of it? Probably not. But those are pretty big names to be left off of Survivor Series. I expect a traditional Survivor Series match still happening. So, yes, we will get a War Games match with women and men, but we will also get traditional Survivor Series matches as well. Remember that. You know, it's got to get this really hard, deep blood Raquel Rodriguez, I think, is a lock for that. So we'll see what happens. I don't think Becky Lynch will be back in time for that. She's still got a much bigger, road to recovery. Survivor Series really would be cutting it close. And honestly, Becky Lynch with the arm injury, it makes sense for her to be part of that, but I think it's a little too soon. I could see more for Royal Rumble than anything else. Ratings. We have to mention it. Now, look, if you want to do the math, you can do the math. But I want to make this clear. This is no disrespect to journalists out there. Anybody that's trying to sell you that the 9:23 p.m. tease that everybody thought was happening with the White Rabbit is the reason why SmackDown did 2,535,000 viewers. That is the biggest audience in over, I think, close to 2 years. 2,535,000. I think the quarter hour that Braun and Otis, as well as the Fireball to Drew, that quarter, I think, did 2,700,000 viewers. So, yeah, you could have 200,000 extra viewers tuning in just at 9:23 out of curiosity for Bray Wyatt. Yeah, I could see people that don't watch WWE programming if they're home. Hey, let me tune in 9:25 just to see if anything happens. But remember, this is why it's stupid. 2,700,000 for that quarter. There are 8 quarters for SmackDown. They did overall 2,535,000 viewers. If you had an extra 200,000 viewers in one of those 8 quarters, when you divide that extra viewership 8 ways, that comes out to about 20 to 25,000 viewers per quarter. Now, I'll give you an easy way to explain this. Let's say SmackDown does 2 million viewers. Now, just hypothetical. Let's say every quarter of SmackDown, all 8 quarters, 7 of the 8 quarters did 2 million. We'll keep it easy. All right? 8 quarters for SmackDown, 7 of the 8 did 2 million. Now, let's say one quarter did 2 million. Let's say did 2,800,000. That's crazy. All right, look, 7 of the 8 quarters did 2 million only. But the one quarter, 9:23 p.m., that quarter did 2,800,000. So one quarter did 800,000 more viewers than the other 7. I'd like to actually make it here, 2,700,000 viewers. So you're like, oh my God, wait a minute. So 7 quarters did 2 million, and that one quarter that everybody thought Bray Wyatt was going to return did 700,000 more viewers. Now, take that 700,000 viewers, average it out across the 8 quarters. If you say Raw, a SmackDown for that night, what is the viewership? 2,100,000 for the night. Because if you had 8 quarters of 2 million viewers, that's 16 million viewers. Divided by the number of quarters, and there's your rating. So if every quarter did 2 million, 8 quarters would be 16 million viewers. Divided by 8 quarters, you have 2 million for the overall. So now you have 7 of those quarters at 2 million, so you're at 14 million. And then you add 2,700,000 to it, so now you're at 16,700,000 viewers. Divide that by 8 ways. You end up with 2 million, not even 100,000 viewers. So that quarter would have only affected about 80,000 of the overall viewership. Did extra people watch SmackDown overall? Maybe out of curiosity, sure. But guess what? You didn't have an insane jump just for that quarter. You didn't have, looks almost like a EKG machine. No, the fact that they ended up with 2,535,000 shows that a shitload of people wanted to watch SmackDown, and what they wanted to see, they liked. And it went up against quite a few premieres. Take a note of all the premieres that aired on Friday, and SmackDown still scored their biggest number in a couple of years. So people are trying to shoot it down, blame it on this. No, the fans like what they watched, period. Simple as that. Rampage did 522, which is not a bad number because remember, they did a 2-hour show and they went to midnight. Not everybody wants to watch wrestling until midnight. Unfortunately, Impact Wrestling is only up to 82,000 viewers. I don't know what you can do to get them back at. Remember when Tessa Blanchard was the champion? They were averaging over 200,000 viewers. Do I think Tessa Blanchard is the reason why the viewership is off? No. It just goes to show you in about a year and a half's time how hard they fell. And what to me was the biggest mistake. Having AEW be the focal point of your championship for what? Almost a year? Remember what they did? They pretty much told their viewership that nobody on our regular roster is worthy enough to be heavyweight champion. So Kenny Omega and Christian will have the stranglehold of those championships. I think that fucked them up big time, And sure, maybe Impact Wrestling was very afraid of what the ratings would have been. But look at the ratings before Kenny Omega showed up there. Yeah, you had that first initial jolt. But when he became champion, the numbers started going down. It's not AEW's fault. It's just Impact Wrestling fans just fell out of favor with their own promotion. So, yeah, I think they are dying a slow death. And it's a shame because, there are really good talents that we brought up the card Saturday night that they just had. It was a pretty damn good show, and unfortunately you don't have free agents out there that are, that could be picked up that are going to kill it in the ratings. You got Juice Robinson wrestling on Dynamite Wednesday, and if you follow social media, you think it's one of the greatest things in recent memory. Juice Robinson is wrestling an Impact. Nobody wants to tune in. Jay White, we brought that up before. Jay White, oh my God, the Forbidden Wall, Forbidden Door. Speaking of Forbidden Door, you all know what's going on, right? When I've been posting these QR codes, there's a reason behind it. I'll share it with you now, even though I'm not going to post it on Twitter for a couple of days. And then once I post it, this person will as well. A little announcement, mark it down on your calendars. Thursday, November 3rd, 2 days before Crown Jewel. Forbidden Door is returning here. The first Forbidden Door was Jason Solomonster. We had a blast. The second Forbidden Door was Joe Cronin. We had an incredible, fun show. And I will be inviting both of them back. Good people. Forbidden Door 3 is set. It is confirmed. This is going to be interesting because I know a lot of you know his views, my views, a lot of ways do not match up. JD from New York will be joining me here. And we will be discussing Crown Jewel. We will be talking about the news that is going down for that week. We will also, a couple of weeks in advance, give everyone the opportunity to send in a question, and he and I will handpick a bunch of questions that we will be answering on the show. We will be having some debates. We will be having some fun conversation, and it is happening. So my buddy, my BlueWire buddy, my Pro Wrestling TV compadre, because we are on both of those networks. It's just he and I. If you look at those networks, Pro Wrestling TV and BlueWire, there's some established shows there. No question. Sam Roberts, Chris Van Vliet, Top Rope, Gallows and Anderson. They've only added 2 podcasts in the last year. Yours truly, JD from New York. That will be happening on November 3rd. Psycho, I promise you it is going to be a barn burner. We're going to go as long as it needs. We want to definitely make a couple of bucks that night, so we will be splitting super chats right down the middle. So it's going to be a fun night. It's going to be a real fun night. All right, before I go, speaking of super, Rojo Bear. What if the teaser is an NFT? If it's an NFT, we will all say F you, WWE. Could they make an NFT from this? Sure. You know what's awesome? A lot of you remember this. I still have it. Remember the autographed? I don't really have anything here. I mean, I still have my autograph page, rookie card, and AJ Lee. I haven't put them away yet. But remember that Bray Wyatt Topps card? I have the first ever autograph. You know how they're serial numbered, like 1 in 25 or 1 in 299? I have the number 1. And I was thinking, if I put that shit on eBay right now, I could wonder, because somebody offered me $500 like a year ago. I was like, no, I'm not selling it. But, yeah, they could make NFTs out of this. Sure, why not? But, you know, the interesting thing is, without giving away more, because you all will have fun looking up this stuff. If you look at Corbin, Kentucky, for example, okay? Now, I'm not looking at notes. This is just from what I remember. If I recall, Corbin, Kentucky, wasn't that the last show that he did before he became The Fiend? I think that was his last match that he had as Bray Wyatt. Then he stepped away for a little bit, then came back as The Fiend. So there are so many other little things. We brought up White Rabbit Records earlier. There are so many little things that will have nothing to do with any of these QR codes or teasers that you watch. But the pleasure is to just go out and say, oh, look at this. Oh, shit, check this out. Check this out. Every little thing will lead back to him. But, yes, hit that like button. Wow, we're already 200 likes. Love it. Love it. So, yeah, NFTs could be coming out. Mohamed Soria, speculation is that Cody blocked himself out of AEW, the title run, because he wanted his first world championship win to be the WWE championship. What do I think? And thank you for that 50 spot, my friend. Much love. Yeah, I agree. Absolutely. I wonder if Bryan Danielson, I don't think Bryan Danielson is as strict about it, because Bryan Danielson is an 8-time world champion. So Bryan has tasted it. He's been there. Remember the Yes movement? That is one of the greatest moments in my lifetime as a wrestling fan. It wasn't just a feel-good moment, and it wasn't just an awesome moment for the fans, but that was something almost impossible to do. You know, Daniel Bryan was not in the cards to be heavyweight champion. Remember Batista and what was supposed to happen with him. And the Yes movement became so big that WWE had to do it. And I think that changed some of history in the sense that I don't know if Kofi Kingston gets that moment if Daniel Bryan got that moment. That I think it opened the door that, you know, if something really big happens organically, I think WWE is more inclined to do it for the fans. Yeah, viewership decline will enhance that a little bit. But remember how that happened. Mustafa Ali with an injury, you know, and that kind of, you know, you see where it went from there. But, yeah, with Cody, absolutely. I think Cody Rhodes looked at AEW as business. There's nothing wrong with that. And I think at the end of the day, I think if he was going to win his first world championship, listen, let me also say this, because I know it's going to spark controversy if I don't make this clear. We're not diminishing NWA championships. We're not diminishing that. But I think Cody, when it came to AEW, and you saw how powerful Omega, the Young Bucks, and others were, and you see how people were being used, I think Cody, you know, especially the aura, I think he, you know, was a little bit hesitant and said, look, you know, in the back of his mind, if he's going to become a world champion, his preference would be WWE. I always felt that if Cody would have remained, I always felt they would have done a storyline where Cody would have had the fans, insist that he fight for the world championship for AEW. I really believe that. Remember my break glass in emergency rant that I went on? I think if AEW needed him to become champion as a babyface, and that's something that absolutely needed to be done, I think they would have planted the seeds for a storyline where the noise, especially online, would be so loud. Cody, we want you to no, I adhere to stipulations. I would never fight for the title again. And the more you say no, the more the fans want you to say yes. Unfortunately, if somebody says no to you and they keep saying no to you, they want it even more. We don't need to make examples, but I think you could, where I'm going with that. Nero Faye is an honorary moose. Shana Tova to you, my friend. Thank you very much. I hope you're doing well. I hope everything is good in your neck of the woods. He's tuning in live from Israel right now. And, you follow the news for as far away as we are over here. Sometimes you see it, you're like, as bad as what's going on sometimes and what you see from afar in our neck of the woods, it's nothing compared to what I see going on over there. So much love to you. Much love to you. King of Games, 405. How do I think AEW will handle the marketing for the video game with CM Punk on the cover? Oh, they could change that cover. Oh, they could absolutely change that cover. But listen to me. I want to make this clear. I don't want to say that I'm right, because I don't work there. And I don't know what's really going on in Tony Khan's head. But remember what I told you all that week that CM Punk made that rant, right? You go back, you remember Kenny Omega used coward shit in a promo to Hangman Page on TV. This is a clash of culture. It is a clash of the foundation of what AEW is built on and the old school culture. There's a clash there. And the thing is you don't know what Tony Khan is thinking in his mind. Remember, when CM Punk is saying everything he's saying and Tony Khan is nodding his head and saying, yeah. You would think in the back of his mind, you don't think Tony Khan, as he's hearing this, he's saying to himself, oh my God, oh fuck, the Young Bucks are backstage. Oh fuck, Kenny Omega's back there. Oh fuck, you don't think, like, common sense, right after CM Punk is done, you say, look, everybody, I got to go use the men's room. And you go in the back and you say, look, please. He just sits there and he's like, oh, look, Tony Storm is on. Chris Jericho. So my point is, we don't know what's going on in Tony Khan's head. But you may remember that week I said to you, who is more important for the news media out there and AEW fans? CM Punk, who's going to be out of action for 9 months, or the Elite? Think about when AEW first started. Think of All In. Think of everything else that's happened. Who is more important? Remember all the leaks? Look, Malachi Black just brought up how people in management are leaking out his mental health shit to the media. Those media people that are telling you, we don't get fed anything from AEW, they're lying to you. They'll never tell you that. Then who do you think? Do you think AEW, the EVPs, are just making smoke clouds in the sky? And then a news journalist looks up and says, oh shit, Malachi Black has mental health issues, wants his release. They're leaking this shit out to these people. So it was obvious that the climate online was going to push CM Punk out of AEW. CM Punk is a threat to AEW's foundation. CM Punk is a threat to the coddled EVPs that when they get their balls in a bunch or they're triggered or they're a little bit upset, let's be honest, they give little crumbs to the people online. Why do you think? Oh, did you ever, Colt Cabana, no disrespect, brother. You're not my brother. I'm not your brother. It's just everybody says brother. least I don't say bro. Why the fuck did you for 9 months never go out there and post a TikTok video and says, listen, everyone, CM Punk did not force me out of AEW. You know, I appreciate everybody's support and everything, but, you know, you got to stop doing that. You know, he does his thing, I do my thing, and nobody fucking said a thing. Simple as that. It's like the TV 14 stuff. When everybody and their mother said that WWE was going TV 14, we came right out there and say, how could that be possible without them clearing it with advertisers, stockholders, this and that? Nobody just says, you know, I never really thought about that. So the EVPs and the people that are there, from the QT Marshalls to the Coke Cabanas to all the other people that work their ass off behind the scenes, they are all invaluable. You hear this Ring of Honor TV stuff? We joked about it yesterday. Who the fuck is going to be running these shows? Who is, what event is going to be recorded to tape all this stuff? Who's going to do production? Who's going to do this? They're going to add a new tour, a new schedule? No. Either they're going to replace an existing show, or there's no, because nobody thinks about the common sense business side of it. So CM Punk could very well still be on the cover when it launches. They want to sell copies. But honestly, because of Kenny Omega and how much work he's put in that video game, here, you're going to be surprised when I say this. If I'm Kenny Omega, I take him off the fucking cover. I put Bryan Danielson, Jon Moxley, I put other people on the cover. Or make the other people a little bit bigger and take him off. But you don't know what's going on in Tony Khan's head. So, Crazy Cruiserweight, his Thea Hale fandom is gone since she is dating. That's good. That's good. You know, she's allowed to date, you know. So, yeah, Crazy Cruiserweight's a big fan of Thea Hale. She's doing good. You know, she's doing good. Let's be a little careful with that. Rojo Bear, Malachi Black just went live on Instagram and debunked all the rumors and confirmed that he just is taking time off and will be back with AEW. Good. Good. You know, if you remember my predictions for Grand Slam, I said, wouldn't it be cool if Malachi Black returned? Never say never. Never say never. But look, again, we'll talk about it on Wednesday. We'll have more conversation because we'll be talking about AEW and NXT Wednesday. But you see the level of bullshit that's out there. And disrespect. And disrespect. Remember this. Remember that it's, and I'll leave you with this. We'll take this home because we've gone about 90 minutes, 95 minutes. Remember this one thing. I'm no denying that the Young Bucks, Kenny Omega, everybody that works their ass off. They work their ass off. I even have a lot of respect for QT Marshall because the amount of work that these people do is crazy. It's not just wrestling, but here's my point I'll leave you with. You think of all of the media that puts shit out there, whether it's Malachi Black's mental health or CM Punk forcing Colt Cabana out of AEW and all this other stuff. Remember this. When you get angry at the media doing this over and over again, remember the Keith Lee stuff? They got it all wrong with Keith Lee and found out that guy was on death's door. And then when people are like, oh, shit, then me and him is like, can we be better going forward? That lasted 2 months. And then right away, it's just whatever they fucking feel like it. Remember this. Remember that as bad as it is that they're disrespecting Malachi Black, revealing all that shit in the news world, remember what's even worse. The fact that there are management in AEW that find it okay to leak to these news sites. Yeah, Malachi Black, he wants his release. He's crying about mental health and stuff like that. Yeah, that went on. So as fucked up as these news journalists are, remember that as much as you love watching an AEW product, remember that the people working behind the scenes, they are no better than people that work in WWE, that work in other promotions. They are no better than others. So it's bad that the news outlets are doing that, but it's worse that people in management are giving him that stuff to throw out there. And again, Colt Cabana, why didn't he once go on? The guy does podcasts for 95 years. How do you just not go on a podcast and say, listen, everybody, I appreciate, I'm overwhelmed by everybody's support out there. You got to stop trying to say that CM Punk forced me out. That takes 30 seconds. And he never fucking did that. As far as I know, maybe he did. And people just intentionally ignored it. But you see how simple that could have been a dead issue? But no, it sat there for 9 months. So when CM Punk did what he did, I loved it. And breaking news, quite a few people more older in age in AEW loved it as well. From Hall of Famers to current wrestlers to trainers and others, they loved it. Because this culture, this environment that goes on, there is a clash. There is a clash. And honestly, I think in the end, the elite, that mindset, the Hangman Page and all, I think in the end, that wins out. I think that wins out. Because Tony Khan needs those people to run AEW, not just run the ropes. He needs those people to run AEW. And that's why I think Cody, we brought it up the other day, when Cody won the TNT title, and you look at him, he's like about to cry. He's like, eh. Because he was representing the network. He's got a game show. We're going to have binge drinking with brandy and all this stuff. He was representing the network. Big fucking deal. Big fucking deal business-wise. And, yeah, so, all right. I'm going to get out of here. Now, for my friends that watch NXT, tomorrow we will have a watch party. I hope you could all join me. If you've never been to one before, stop by. We watch NXT together. We talk, we chat. You could be silent. Just hang out. You could watch it for free. And if you don't have online viewing capabilities, I told you how you could do it. Just go to tv.youtube.com and it'll give you a trial that you could watch YouTube for like 20 minutes, 40 minutes, whatever it offers you. And you select yes. But don't sign up and don't do anything. Just select yes. That's all you got to do. And then you join the watch party. And the watch party will confirm the TV YouTube, even though you're not subscribing to anything, and you'll be able to watch the whole episode. It works. Nothing wrong with that. So join us tomorrow. If you're a member of our Patreon family, I will be here tomorrow night doing a Patreon show. And we'll definitely talk about, what we talk about. Otherwise, if neither one, tickles your fancy, join me here Wednesday night, right after AEW Dynamite. We will talk about Dynamite. We'll talk about NXT. We'll go a little bit further. I will look into a little bit more of what Malachi Black said. We'll talk about Keith Lee exposing some of the most recent fake news about significant others. We've had some fun with that. And listen, I thank each and every one of you for your support out there. Like I said, people always say to me, you could tease this, clickbait this, you could lie a little bit, you could twist the words. Hey, you realize how many more people will tune in if you just said this instead of that, or this and that. That's why even if you look at the title for tonight's show, you see where I wrote Aleister Black Diversion? I wrote that because I want you to realize in the title, it is just a diversion, a technique by WWE. I don't want anybody in their mind to think that there's any remote chance that Aleister Black is the White Rabbit teaser. You go search around and see how many people tonight that get a big question marks, and they're going to have Aleister Black and Bray Wyatt and Karrion Kross and all these others. You'll see people even put Corbin's on the front, just to force a question mark that the answer to, because they want you to tune in. I think that's shady. So I don't mind sacrifice. I'd rather have a smaller group of loyal friends out there enjoying this stuff and want to be told the truth than to lie to all of you out there. So if that was a cool thing that I said, hit that like button. If you have any friends out there that you think may like the channel, let them know about it. It's free, obviously. If you want to become a subscriber, obviously, that's cool. Don't forget the mailbag this Thursday. I will be pre-recording it on Wednesday afternoon. And, we'll be back to full swing. So I thank you all for joining me tonight. Much love. Did somebody really say it was Dexter Lumis? Why? I mean, Dexter Lumis, we don't know much about his history, but, that Florida Championship Wrestling promo should have just ended it for everyone out there. Remember, if Vince McMahon was still leading creative, I probably would have some question marks right now. But Triple H, you see the Photoshop. You have, what was it, Elmo with the fire, like looking at him, or Triple H knows that if he doesn't deliver Bray Wyatt in this, anything else is unacceptable. It will be tolerated by some, but Bray Wyatt is the only choice. And WWE, Triple H are not stupid. When that revelation is Bray Wyatt, people are going to lose their shit and they're going to just credit, love, thank Triple H. This motherfucker, look what he's doing that Vince wouldn't do for us. He's got all these people back. Got Bray Wyatt back, got this. Remember, Triple H was partly responsible for Bruno making amends with WWE. Triple H was partially responsible for making amends with, in some ways. The guy is not perfect, and he's been part of the WWE machine for decades. Let's not forget that. He does make mistakes, and some of the creative decisions have not all been all that spectacular, but they're not stupid. They know at the end of the day, if the payoff is anything but Bray Wyatt, that will be a huge letdown for a lot of people. It's going to be. It's 100% Bray Wyatt returning. So, much love, everyone. Charlie is like, suppose it's not Bray. If it's not Bray Wyatt, I will stop doing the shows for a month. It's going to be Bray Wyatt. Believe me when I tell you, there's no fucking way that it's anybody else. Just look at the research and you have your answer. But when you do get swerved, with the little Aleister Black reference, with the little this, that's part of sports entertainment. You're supposed to be swerved. When you play a game of Clue, which I haven't done since I was a kid, you are convinced that it's the prostitute in the building, in the bedroom that killed the butler's wife's husband. You're convinced that it's this, and then it could be something else. But in this case, don't overthink it. People overthought Edge. You had it right in front of your face that it was Edge. And people still insisted that it was something else. Do not overthink it. As obvious as that was with Edge's return, this is Bray Wyatt's return. I'm out of here. Be well, everybody.
As far back as I can remember, I always wanted to be a podcaster. For me to live any other way was nuts. To me, those goody-good people who worked shitty jobs for bum paychecks and took the subway to work every day and worried about their bills were dead. They were suckers. They had no balls. If I wanted something, I just took it. I ran everything. I paid the bills. I paid the host. I even paid the masked maniac. Everybody had their hands out. Everything was for the taking. We always called each other good fellas. You would always hear from somebody. You're gonna like Don Tony. He's all right. He's a good fella. He's one of us. But if you're part of my crew, nobody ever tells you they're gonna get rid of you. It doesn't happen that way. There weren't any arguments or curses like in the movies. See, your haters come with smiles. They come as your friends, the people who've claimed they care the most for your life. And now that's all over. And that's the best part. Today everything is different. There's lots of action. I don't have to wait around for everything like everyone else. Oh, I didn't get the vaccine? Fuck you, vaccine me. Oh, your delivery guy has COVID? Fuck you, feed me. Right after I moved here, I ordered egg noodles and ketchup, and I got spaghetti with meat sauce. I'm no longer an average nobody, while they get to live the rest of their lives like a bunch of schnooks.